All right. Welcome to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. It is beautiful Tuesday, April 22nd. This is our recap for Monday, and there was a busy day in the world of sports, my friends. I really love this time of year. I would rank it April and May for sports. I would put it right up there with October. October is probably a little better because I'm such a big baseball fan. I love the World Series. I love seeing hockey and basketball start up, and I like football, especially college football is really in the middle of it. You know, they're really getting some stuff done. But if you could, hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate it. We get a couple more people every day. And let us go down what happened on Tuesday. I will tell you this. If you're a friend of the site, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Leave comments. Always appreciate it. Yesterday I had the privilege of doing a podcast with each Scott and Brian. Really some good stuff. That's Scott, man. He's a warrior. You know, he broke a couple ribs, still there. And the least you could do is hit like and subscribe. That's all I'm saying. I'm not asking for a political donation. I'm not asking for money. Well, maybe I will one day. You know, these guys got to get paid. They got to eat too, right? Let's start out with my hot take. F hockey. Let's start with F hockey. Okay? I'm getting tired of this utter BS. I gotta keep the cussing out for the first 10 minutes. That's a YouTube rule. Okay? Maybe if you're Bill Simmons, you can get away with it. Doesn't really matter. You got 5 billion people on your subscribe list. Us, yeah, you got to watch the P's and Q's, right? I'm going to talk about the Dallas-Colorado game. And it was literally a fantastic game. It was playoff hockey at its best. They were playing every shift like it literally was the finals. They were not effing around. They were coming hard. Great hockey. It is truly why I think it is the best professional tournament there is. With that said, this BS really has to end. Hockey is effed up and then effed up on it again. Now, John, will you quit talking and get to what the fucking point? The point is, excuse that language. So in the third period, if you watched, Dallas defensive men, Liam Bichelle, he's the guy who hit the game winner in OT. He got rocked. He got rocked along the boards. It was one of those things. He's a 6'7" guy. The other guy is probably 5'10", 6 foot. I don't know, right? And just the way his head was coming down and the other gentleman's helmet literally hit him in the face. Literally hit him in the face. Smashed his nose, smashed his lips, bloody, looked like he was coming out of a Chucky movie. And they take him over to the bench. And the trainer gets on it, cleans him up. It's like a fight, right? Oh, cut me, Mick. All right. So they clean him up and roll him back out. The guy laid on the ice for a minute. Do you see where I'm going with this? I got announcers. I got the idiot PK Subban. I got the bigger idiot Mark Messier, who only says something when he thinks it's right in the hockey sense. And Steve Levy's just an idiot. But they run him over to the bench after he's been face down for a minute, clean him up, put him back on the ice. Got to get that on it. Ice time. No, there was no penalty. It was just a clean hit. It was just a brutal hit. Nobody checked him for a concussion. I mean, really. And I'm gonna walk as very carefully as I can here. Back in the day, I've been privileged enough to know Brian and Scott each over 25 years. I've known Brian 30. Scott and I have always had great debates. I've always respected Scott because he is so intelligent. And if he doesn't know something, he strives to learn about it, right? So around 2010, the NFL had a CTE problem. There was concussions. There was people dying. Will Smith did a movie on it. We don't need to belabor it. I said that this was going to be the end of the NFL. Okay? Well, it wasn't. And where I failed to realize was I absolutely, unequivocally believe the NFL is killing its players. But the problem is the players are willing participants because they are getting so much money. You really think Patrick Mahomes is going to make $40 million at Amazon? Probably not. So the NFL did some very ingenious things, put more money into the fund, dealt with the union, did some really good things, and they've kind of navigated it. I still don't think they're in the clear. I still think there's going to be a crisis at the high school level. If you look at the numbers, the number of people, parents enrolling their kids in Pee Wee football, in Pop Warner football, is going down dramatically. But whatever. It doesn't really matter, okay? Let's get to hockey. Hockey is denied that this is even an issue. One of their greatest players, Bobby Hull, died of CTE. Now, at the end of his life, he became very inflammatory. Let's put it that way. There was some, could be perceived as racial remarks. There was some xenophobia, homophobia. There was some stuff, okay? When he died, they did an autopsy on his brain, and they found out he had extensive CTE. It's a violent game. You put them on skates, they can get even faster. You think football's a violent game? You go watch hockey. You see when they slam these guys into a wall. Scott's told me about it. Like, in football, it's violent. It's not as violent as hockey. I really don't care. Now, granted, football, there's a collision on every play. There isn't necessarily on every set of plays a collision. But let me tell you something. These guys are bigger and bigger. And they're lining people up. You get some 260-pound guy, 6'5", and you let that guy get a head of steam on skates and hit you into the boards. Honestly, I'm surprised they don't wheel them out in coffins. Forget the Zamboni, you got to bring a hearse in. Okay? Nobody is... Hockey and Gary Bettman don't care about CTE. They don't care about the players. They don't. They don't give a rat's butt about it. That's all I'm going to say about that, right? No, it isn't. It's not all I'm going to say. They have a responsibility to their players. I'm getting tired of the, hey man, that's just the way it is. You know what? That's the same bullshit they used to say about people who worked with asbestos. That's about people who worked in coal mines. Yeah, I know. There's still people who work in coal mines, John, so shut your mouth. Well, you know what? If you look at the history of coal mines in the last 100 years, and I saw this in a podcast with Michael Lewis, who's literally is the greatest journalist in America, they're literally, in the first 50 years, they were losing anywhere between 2,000 and, let me reverse it out. They were losing anywhere between 800 and 2,000 people a year in the mines. Now, they got it safer. I want to say in the last 5 years, they've only lost 10, 12 people. Still a huge number, but nothing like it did. They've improved the safety, okay, blah, blah, blah. Whatever that is, right? Hockey is not doing anything here. Hockey is just sitting there, and they want to revel in this, we're a tough man sport. That's over, man. That's over. You want to appeal to the female demographic? Okay. They like to see a hit, but they also don't like seeing one of their star players out for 4 months. How you doing, Mr. Chuchuk? You know? When you have your star players not on the ice, that's a problem for your product. And Gary Bettman isn't addressing it. Oh, no. We're just going to act like it doesn't exist. Scott, in one of our conversations years ago, said, hey, there's a big issue with CTE in soccer. And honestly, I thought he was wrong. No, he was right on. There is. That's just from heading the ball. Hockey, nothing to see here. Not a damn thing to see here. It's criminal what they are doing to the players. It is the same thing as what the United States did to American workers when they knew asbestos was a killer. It was a cancer-causing killer. And they didn't do a damn thing. I've taken safety classes on asbestos. And the instructors all said the same thing. Well, they just didn't have enough death count. What does it take in hockey? I don't know. And it makes me sad because it is such a great game. They need to protect the players. Forget this bullshit about upper body injury, lower body injury. How about a head injury? I'm getting goddamn sick of it. These kids are not sacrificial lambs to be played with. This isn't the orca pulls the seal off the ocean, off the shore, and lets it go and beats it up out there a quarter mile out until it kills it. That's what they're doing. The players are the seal. And the hockey people don't care. Don't give me this bullshit from ESPN that they care. They don't care. They just want product on the air. That's all they care. And if you can't play, we'll bring somebody up from AHL. That's all they want to do. It's ridiculous and it's bullshit. And I'm going to get into it a little more with Scott. Scott is, whoa. Let me take a step back here. I'm going to discuss the issue. I don't know where Scott feels on it. Scott is an old school type of guy, but he is truly one of the most safe people I've ever met. He does care about humanity. Okay? We're going to discuss this on Wednesday. We're going to be doing this tomorrow. We're going to figure this out because it just makes me sick. Hockey, this is not a sacrificial lamb situation. And I saw what Liam Bichelle went through. He had a concussion. You ain't convincing me of anything else. That guy had a concussion, and they sent him back out there. Yeah, and you know what? He got the game winner. Hey, John, biscuit in the basket. That's all that matters. F you, and then, you know what? When I get done with that, F you again. That's somebody's father. That's somebody's son. That's somebody's husband. Jesus Christ, how much are we prostituting ourselves for? Effing hockey. All right, that's all I'm going to do there. I'm going to go off on the rest of sports in a second. But if you could, hit the like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.